Hello and welcome to Brave Talks. Today we are exploring how creativity, courage and care shape the way we learn, make and connect. We're joined by Gigi Zahir, a performer, educator and creative force who's found powerful ways to blend theatre, drag and activism into storytelling that heals and inspires. We'll talk about identity, care, responsibility and the delicate art of staying grounded while creating space for honesty and joy. And welcome Gigi, it's great to have you here. I'm really excited to have this conversation today. How would you describe yourself and the work that you do?
Yeah, let's start with an existential crisis. I don't know. Who am I? I feel like it's something we're always trying to answer. And I still feel like I'm still trying to figure that out a little bit. I'm a performer. I educate, I event produce, I write, I do many, many different things and trying to figure out how all that links together. But I guess I'm an artist and I really thrive on connecting with people and creating connections between other people. And I think that's why I quite like theater, and that's where that kind of background comes from.
How do you feel empathy and self-esteem, how do they play together in that space?
Empathy and self-esteem. Whoa, we're really going in on it today, aren't we? How do they play into theater? Well, I think theater is like a gym for empathy in a way. And it's so funny, because right now, right, arts funding and stuff is being cut, and we see what's happening on a larger scale as we're shifting deeper and deeper into fascism. And it's the first things to go is artistic stuff, because it breeds empathy. And if you empathize and you care about people, then you care about things like equality, and you can't just throw around words like woke and stuff to just dismiss it all, right? So it's I think empathy is crucial to a healthy functioning society. And I think theater helps us see ourselves, connect with other people, connect with our emotions. It shows us who we are. It helps us feel who we are. And again, as we're in a world that I think is going deeper and deeper into thinking and hard lines and boundaries, and we're getting further and further away from just feeling things and just being in that, and even as I'm doing that, it feels funky, because it's it feels like such a tricky thing to do, to just sit and just feel things. And we're told that it's weak and soft and whatever, but I just think it's so crucial to our being is to actually sit and feel what's going on. Yeah, and theater really fosters that.
I mean, it is a challenging time at the moment. Yeah. Do you think theatre is becoming more popular because of that? Do you think people are seeking something?
That's tricky to answer, because I think across the board, because of the state of the economy, ticket sales are down. Yeah. So I think we are thirsting for connection, but finding it harder to achieve. Yeah. And then we're left to seek it through black screens, which I don't fully trust anymore, that they're fostering connection in the same way that theater does, which is so immediate, which can't be manipulated by algorithms, where we're shown what they want us to see, but it's you choose to go see that play, you kind of know what you're getting yourself into, but you may not fully understand, and then you're going to sit and have this experience and feel different things and go through giant life moments, right? Falling in love, people dying, triumph, loss, and you're gonna get to connect with the breadth of the human experience and feel all of that, and then walk away learning as well, because that's how it began. That's how theater began. It was a learning tool with the ancient Greeks. So yeah, it's such a beautiful thing. And I've loved it since I was a kid too. I'm one of those really obnoxious people that from the get-go is this is what I want to do.
I mean, I think it's really important because people are disconnected when they're just looking at screens.
Yeah.
Whereas there is a connection with theatre. There is an immediacy, like you said. So the drag's been a huge part of what you've done and your creative characters as well. How does that fit into your broader journey? How's that fitting into your story?
In a very very interesting way. I've been and so this is why the starting with the who are you question like feels so tricky, because drag has been a really big part of my journey and my artistic expression, and then it became my job. And like as I'm kind of growing as a human and as an artist and like on this journey, my perception of it has started to change. I just want to like clarify that I can only speak to my own journey. But I've been really investigating shame recently. I've like been listening to these audiobooks, and so The Power of Vulnerability by Brene Brown, which is like all about, it's actually about shame and an investigation to that, like what blocks us from being vulnerable and being our like truest, most authentic selves. And then I've just been listening to another audiobook, which I'm almost at the end of, called Straight Jacket, which is like all an investigation into gay shame. And oh my God, this guy has just like read me for filth, talking about how when we don't feel good enough, we use things like humor, and the number of like, especially queer people who use things like humor, because we're made to feel so bad about ourselves. We use things like dressing up a certain way, making our bodies look a certain way, being the funniest, smartest, cleverest, wittiest, most charming, most beautiful person in the room, to control that, the way people perceive us. And I'm like, that's drag? I'm in this place now where I'm starting to feel a little bit like this amazing thing that like has helped me so much is now becoming almost a block to my next level of growth, like as a person and as an artist. Like, she has taught me to embrace my queerness. She's taught me to celebrate my femininity. She's taught me to become a better performer, a more confident performer, like has helped me heal so many things. And now she's starting to feel like heavy armor that I like don't want to wear all the time. My background's in theater and like I definitely want to keep performing, but I'm like a queer performer who's like gone down this path, and now has started to kind of feel like my restaurant job a little bit in some ways, because it's become so service-based. You know, hen dos, birthday parties, like bingos at like ladies' lunches where I'm getting my ass grabbed. It's like, it's like, I don't know, like as it's become this more service-based thing, the magic started to dull a little bit. And it's also started to feel like, why do I feel the need to put all this on? I don't need this to perform. Like, that's what my background's in, but it still gives other people so much, and other people still see it as this like big inspiring thing. And like, she's brought me a lot of attention. She's helped build my reputation. She's like, so I feel bad almost like naysaying her, because of like there's all these like tangible gifts that she's like brought to my life, but it's like, for the growth to continue, I feel like I'm discovering more and more that like I kind of need to set her down and explore these like other ways of expressing myself. But even that's the scariest thing too, because I mean, you came to see the show that I did, which I almost canceled 2 days before.
It was amazing, by the way.
Thank you. Terrifying. To self-produce something solo out of drag, to have it be autobiographical with quite sensitive subject matter, and then to do it as a work in progress with script in hand. And like all my shame voices were all going off, like, you're gonna look so unprepared, you haven't even put a look together for this, like you've decided to wear your pajamas and people are gonna judge you for that, and like they're not gonna like hop on board with you as quickly because you aren't as like aesthetically charming as you are when you're in drag. And like I was, and then yeah, and I wasn't off book, so you're like, you have not done your actor homework either. Like, oh, like it was like so much noise, and then everyone loved it. Mm-hmm. Like and it went down so well, and like, and obviously people like you, my friends, I you know, I feel like you have a job to support me a little bit. So like when I heard nice things from you and the people I knew who were there, it meant a lot to me. But it actually didn't mean as much as the people who had no connection with me, who were coming up afterwards and being like, "That was great. I just went through a breakup, and that really helped me process some stuff and was like so relatable." Like I was like, "Whoa." So I do have superpowers that aren't just linked to wearing sparkles and makeup and wigs and stuff. So I'm trying to find a path forward now, where because I don't want to quit drag either, but I want to make it more my own again, and find more authentic. Isn't it wild that this art form that's like so, like the whole reason for its existence is supposed to be like self-expression and authenticity, and I feel like, because as it's become kind of commercialized and commodified, that it's like disconnected me from that. So it's like how to reconnect with all that, which will probably make her more inspiring again. But how to do that while also surviving the perils of modern day capitalism. I'm just like...
I mean, do you feel it's a natural journey of that, of discovery, of healing? Because, I mean, you mentioned the shame, the kind of that it came from a shame and became an armor, and then became a power, and then now you're doubting. Oh, it's this huge journey. Do you think it's natural? It seems like a very natural journey, and then you'll discover at the end of it something else.
Who knows? For me, yes, this does feel very natural. You know. It was shame initially that blocked me from drag, and from embracing my queerness. Drama school telling me to butch up for the industry, and the roles that they were casting me in were like Casanovas, heterosexual Casanovas. I should probably qualify, and then managing to like let go of that, and then like drag just kind of organically like creeped in, and then I embraced it, and then it's like all these doors just opened, and now I feel like I'm at like a weird, scary crossroads again. I mean, the past tells me that if I do listen to what's happening and the voices that are coming inside that aren't the evil ones, but the good voices, the angel on the shoulder saying, be brave, you don't need all this to matter, you are super talented, you don't need to like do all this like extra stuff for people to listen and to be entertained and to learn things and enjoy, because it's all theater. Like I see drag as a form of solo theater, your production of one, right? So yeah, my past tells me that when I'm brave enough to finally take the leap, hopefully doors will just blast open again and it'll just be smooth sailing. But I feel like I'm at the scary bit where it's like I'm about to jump out the plane. I'm like, does the parachute work? I don't know. Is the universe going to catch me? And because I guess, but nothing's permanent, right? I can always go back to her, but it doesn't feel like that. I kind of feel, because I do think my instincts are telling me to retire her as a name. And that in order to that I need a bit of a rebrand and a refresh, because I've also come to realize that like I don't want to impersonate women, like, and that's like, and my drag hasn't been about that for years. It's been about like an extension of myself, embracing my own femininity and celebrating that. But I've been really interested in like reclaiming masculinity for myself as well. Like, how do I find a kind of healthiness in that, a glamour in that? How do I make masculinity a little sparkly and learn to enjoy that for myself? Because I've got both energies inside of me. I think we all do. And masculinity's had such a bad rap for the last little phase, I think, because we've just seen the horrors that, when left unchecked, what it causes. And in terms of role models and examples, like, I don't know, it feels a bit tricky sometimes But it's like, how can I now embrace and celebrate my own masculinity too, and integrate all of this into myself as an artist?
How does theatre, do you think, help with you exploring your identity, but also people that are watching it, and also helping them maybe address things or understand things?
So I think theatre really can do that. I think for me, it's like finding the stories that resonate for me and that I want to be a part of, that feel like valuable and useful to me in terms of like my growth. Like, I don't know, I had an audition come through for a piece of new writing, which would have me play like a DL Pakistani guy who's like married with kids and doing gay stuff on the side. And I said to my agent, I was like, thank you, but no thank you. That's an important story that needs to be told. I've already done it. I've already played that role a while ago, and like that doesn't resonate for me. Drama school, all that them wanting to butch me up and stuff, like, you know, people, and like acting should just be about transformation if that's what you want to do. And but for me, it feels more about like storytelling, and maybe this is trauma talking from them wanting to butch me up and stuff. But I'm not really interested in playing straight characters necessarily. Like, I want to find characters that I find really fun and like fruity and fresh and enticing and exciting, and stories that to do with queer joy, which I think we need more of. Like, I mean, maybe it's just a reaction to like the ways that I've been traumatized within society at this time, in the time that I've been alive, that I don't want to focus on that necessarily. I think it's important to acknowledge it, but actually I'm like, we need to see some news stories, like some queer fun, and I think like that's healing for me to participate in. I think like living in trauma and telling traumatic stories creates like a little like emotional echo chamber, and like then that's where you're living in all the time, and that's what you're focusing on all the time, and it's like, so it's not good for my well-being. I've literally lived it already. Like, I don't need to like spend more time there. But then I also think it's important for queer people and people of color and anyone marginalized for whatever reason, that there are like positive representation. There's examples of positive representation to see, because that is healing. Then you see possibility. Then like that can help to kind of like shake off a lot of the stuff that you get kind of like weighed down by. And you're like, oh, it doesn't have to be like that. Yeah. You can just be like a happy queer person. You can be in like a healthy relationship and be surrounded with beautiful friends and like have a job that you enjoy, and like that's all possible. It doesn't all have to be about like getting bashed and coming out and drugs and like all that messiness, which is also real, and we do need to see that sometimes too. But I feel like we're a bit bogged down in terms of media representation. It's all a bit like too dark. I'm like, we need more positive stuff.
There's a certain responsibility you have for what you're sharing and how people are seeing it.
Yeah.
So how do you balance that between what you want to say, but also how they perceive it? So how do you keep authentic to yourself, but also share with others?
So I have a rule. I have a rule with myself in terms of like both my cabaret work, because I also like to keep that really honest too. Like all the drag stuff is just like really fancy wrapping paper, but there's no there's no character in a sense. It's like a slightly magnified, stage-worthy version of myself, but I like to talk about my own life and things that are happening. And my rule is I only talk about things that are safe to talk about. And by that I mean like emotionally safe to talk about. I never want to use my audience as a therapist. It can be very tempting to do that, and I think a lot of people do. But personally, like, I want to be able to bring out the humor of it too, hit the heart of it as well. Like, and this doesn't mean that like I'm afraid of being vulnerable. Actually, I think I think comedy actually, as a defense mechanism, also requires quite a lot of vulnerability. But it's like how to make sure that the things that I'm talking about are digested enough, that I've already gone to the therapist or talked about these things with my friends in a way so that it's like processed and safe, and I've got some distance from it. And then I can start to tackle it in a way where I'm like, so a breakup's a horrific experience. If I were to do that too soon, then I would be experiencing things in a way on stage that I don't think would feel safe for the audience. And if the audience doesn't feel safe, and then I'm not feeling safe, and we're all not feeling safe. And because I did do a show about the breakup, not long after the breakup. It was about 3 months. But like, people received it well. I felt okay. Like 3 months was enough of a distance from it. And it also turned into a joke. So it was like, I promised not to talk about my ex. Instead, I'm just going to talk about, and then there was like a carton of, like a 6-pack of eggs. I'm just going to talk about my eggs instead. And it was so dumb and so stupid and so clowny, but that was my like little stand-in for that. And also just went full hog. Like I like complete white clowny face, smeared mascara running down my face, lace black dress, black veil over my head, and black flowers. Like it was complete funeral vibes. I was like, how do we take this to the most extreme fun place that like a dark thing can be? So like through excess managed to like take it into like a silly place.
Do you think, I mean, I know what my thoughts, because I've seen your performance, I've seen your latest piece as well. Do you think sharing that helps others when they're going through these sort of things, or maybe feeling these sort of things, or struggling with identity, or struggling with any of those topics?
I hope so, and that seems to be like the feedback. Because like I think at the root of what I do, whether it's like more artistic or more service-based, is care about the audience, care about delivering the story in like the best way possible. But actually, like in the case of Unhinged, that was kind of an exercise in selfishness for me, actually, because like I feel like a lot of the cabaret work is so audience oriented. Like someone asked me recently, what kind of art would you make, or what kind of performances would you make if it wasn't about making money and it wasn't focused on who was watching? And I was like, I actually don't know, because like for me, it's so wrapped up together, wanting to make an audience laugh and feel and go on this like journey. So Unhinged was like one of the first things where I was like, okay, in the nicest way. It's not about the audience for a change, actually. This is about like, how do I tell this story in the most effective way? And like as I was writing, I was like checking what's stimulating me, what's making me giggle, what feels like a sucker punch to me. So dramatically, like keeping my fingers on the pulse of like the journey it was taking me on in terms of expressing this stuff. So I was so happy that it like landed with the audience in a way that like they were taken on that journey with me to and experience all that stuff and found it healing as well. Like through the feedback forums, like quite a few, because we've all been in love with someone, I think, that like didn't love you back. And you know, I think that's a universal. And so it kind of like, you know, dealing with that story so specifically, like, you know, go local to go global, like, you like leaning into all the specificities and being as like articulate about like how that made me feel with that guy in that period at that time, like gives people a window into like the universality of that experience. And we don't like to look at these things necessarily, but seeing someone living it out on stage again makes you experience your own thing again, and hopefully helps you diffuse some of the negativity around it, or the shame that you might feel around it, or any of the stigma around it as well, and make it easier to talk about and make you feel like you're less alone. But like, yeah, we funnily enough with Unhinged, it was like the first time we were like, I was like, all that was by accident. I was like, thank God. Because actually, like, I'm trying to be more selfish. I feel like as an artist, you kind of have to be. And that's why, again, going back to that first question being a little bit tricky, because I feel like so much of my being has been so oriented towards other people. I'm quite hyper vigilant. I think it's what's made me a good host. Like, I'm like constantly like reading the people around me for information. Like, am I safe? Am I gonna, like, it's all trauma response, really. But yeah, trying to figure out, okay, like, I am safe. I am talented. I'm my value, and like the things I say matter. So like, who do I want to be now that I'm giving myself permission to like more honestly check in with who I'm allowed to be? Does that make sense?
It does, and I think being true to yourself, being creative, and still going on this journey, even if it's tough, is probably the hardest thing.
The thing that complicates the most, though, is like having to do it all while making money.
Yeah, of course. I mean, on top of everything.
Yeah.
I mean, what would you say? Just to kind of to go full circle. I mean, it is. I mean, I know who you were is the most challenging question, but if somebody was struggling with this journey themselves, do you have any inspirational thoughts or any ideas of, I mean, how would they, if they're stuck in a creative rut or they're not able to express themselves, how did you get going in that? What was your journey start to get moving?
It's so funny because it's like, I still feel like I'm chewing on that question myself and like continuing to dig and excavate. And I keep thinking, I'm like, every time I get close to thinking, oh, I've got it figured out. There's more to dig. There's more to go. So it's not like I wish I had like something really magical to say, but I think honestly, just keep going. Keep going with stuff. Follow what feels good and let that change, and then try and be brave with that, with yourself. God, I wish I could take my own advice. I'm going to try my best.
It's really good advice.
Yeah.
But I think what's really fantastic, and I really appreciate everything you've said, is it feels like it's a continual journey. It is never going to just be a simple answer. Yeah. And I think that's what people look for sometimes. And maybe the theatre and the way you've expressed yourself and the way you've shared all this stuff is the way to explain that. Is to say it's not easy, but keep going.
But so, because people tell me, they're like, oh my God, you're so confident. How do you do it? I'm like, oh my God, I'm like glad I come off like that. But like, if you knew what was going on in my head before every performance, like, what is, I mean, I can't remember who said this, but and I'm going to paraphrase it badly, but it's like, bravery and courage, like, isn't an absence of fear. It's just doing the thing despite it.
I want to say thank you so much. It's been really nice to just talk. It's such a hard thing to kind of delve into because there's no clear answer. There's no black and white answer.
No.
But I think that's okay.
We're all just doing our best.
We're doing our best. I love that. And I think that's the perfect way to end. We're doing our best. So thank you so much, Gigi. I love talking to you. That was Gigi Zahir on Brave Talks. A reminder that art, identity, and empathy can live in the same space. Thank you for joining us for real conversation about responsibility, healing, and staying grounded in challenging times. If this episode resonated, please do share it and reach out to let us know what affected you most. Until next time, be brave, listen with care, and keep the conversation alive.
When we spun you